Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into something you walk over, park over, and let's be honest, probably try to completely avoid because it lives in the darkest, dustiest corner of your garage. Yep, we're talking about floor drains. We're pulling some fantastic insights straight from the plumbing experts at Dr. Drain to explore this absolutely critical piece of your home's infrastructure. Let's kick things off with a pretty simple, though maybe slightly uncomfortable question. When was the absolute last time you checked your basement or garage floor drain? Right, if you're like most of us, the answer is probably never. Or, maybe just that one single time when you moved in. We all kind of share that out of sight, out of mind mentality. We just assume that if we don't literally see a giant puddle of water, hey, everything's totally fine. But ignoring this, man, it can lead to a really gross and really expensive problem just suddenly bubbling up right beneath our feet.
Let's jump into Section 1, the hidden drain system. We really need to uncover exactly what's happening down there in the subterranean world of your basement and garage. Because it turns out these floor drains aren't just random holes in the ground. They're actually an active, vital defense mechanism for your house. I mean, they're directing surface water from heavy rains, handling those accidental massive spills from appliances like your washing machine. They even pull ambient humidity right out and away from your concrete slabs. So these seemingly passive little grates, they are quietly, constantly working around the clock to protect your floors from some pretty severe water damage. But because they sit completely out of sight, an invisible threat just slowly accumulates in the dark. Which brings us to Section 2, Anatomy of a Clog. What exactly is causing these nasty backups? Look, most people think a drain only clogs if you pour something terrible down it, right? But the real culprits are just everyday things. We're talking grit from your shoes, stray hair, random food debris, soap residue, grease, and just general everyday sediment. Honestly, even in a space like a garage where you literally never intentionally dump anything, this rapid accumulation of dust and mud is happening right now. It mixes together and creates this thick sludge that just chokes off your home's entire defense system. Now, what's actually super fascinating here is the mechanics behind a drain trap. It's basically designed to hold a tiny amount of water to physically block toxic sewer gases from sneaking back into your house. It acts like a liquid plug, but here is the big catch. A quote-unquote dry trap happens when that water simply evaporates. And in a space like a garage, this trap can literally go bone dry between seasons. So you might be standing there thinking your drain is perfectly fine, but that missing water seal is actually quietly allowing these incredibly foul odors to seep right into your living space. So what does this all mean when we just let that stagnation build up unchecked? Let's look at Section 3, the price of neglect. Well, when debris builds up, the water simply can't move freely, which turns your drain into this totally stagnant hotspot. And stagnant water does exactly what you'd expect it to do. It accelerates even more buildup, produces incredibly foul smells, and, grossest of all, becomes an absolute magnet for pests. You are essentially creating a swampy, mini breeding ground right smack in the middle of your concrete slab. No thank you. But believe it or not, it actually gets worse than just a bad smell. This slow drainage creates a massive structural risk for the whole house. When water can't drain fast enough, it has nowhere to go but up. And water backing up onto that slab, it will quickly undermine your concrete sealants, entirely destroy your surrounding flooring materials, and cause recurring, deeply frustrating moisture damage. It's basically a domino effect of destruction, and it is going to hit your wallet incredibly hard. Luckily, it really doesn't have to be this way. Let's move on to the solution in Section 4, simple DIY maintenance steps. Because setting up a proactive routine here is just surprisingly straightforward. First off, literally just lift the grate cover and wipe out the visible debris. Simple as that. Second, flush it with a bucket of clean water to confirm you've got steady drainage. Oh, and bonus, that also refills that absolutely crucial water trap we talked about earlier. Third, use some safe, non-damaging drain cleaners if you suspect any hidden buildup. Fourth, just do a really quick visual check for standing water after a heavy rainstorm. And finally, step 5, just keep your nose peeled for any repeated odors. And hey, here is a really vital pro tip for you. You definitely want to increase that cleaning frequency in high traffic areas. We're talking garages that track in a lot of mud or during those heavy rainy seasons. Remember, the big goal here isn't just to react and, plunge out existing clogs. The actual goal is to actively prevent the accumulation that leads to them in the first place. Get ahead of it. However, even with the absolute best routine, sometimes things just go sideways. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, when to call professionals. Because there is a really strict line here between DIY and disaster. On the left side, you've got your basic manageable upkeep, right? Cleaning the grates, flushing some water, checking the flow, easy stuff. But on the right side, you've got deep system failures. If water backs up repeatedly, if it's rising above the drain during normal use, or if those terrible odors just persist even after you've cleaned it, yeah, you've crossed the line. At that point, you absolutely need a pro to come out and check for collapsed lines, improper pipe slopes, or completely failed seals.
Oh, and another crucial time to call in a pro, right after you do any sort of renovation. Because any changes to your flooring, applying new epoxy coatings in the garage, or even altering your exterior landscaping, that can all drastically change how moisture naturally flows to your drain. I mean, a system that worked flawlessly for 10 years could suddenly find itself totally overwhelmed simply because your home's overall water dynamics just changed. The experts at Dr. Drain hit the nail on the head with this quote. They highlight something really important. Most maintenance problems aren't a failed drain system. They're usually caused by what flows into the drain over time. That is just such a powerful reminder for all of us. Avoiding those sky-high repair costs and structural damage, it is entirely in our hands. It's really not some plumbing mystery. It's literally just keeping up with basic maintenance. So I'm going to ask you one more time, just to really bring it home. Are you letting an invisible threat slowly undermine your home's foundation? Seriously, go take a look at your basement and garage floor drains today. Just lift the grate, flush a little water down there, and take control of the situation. It really makes you wonder what other hidden systems in your house are right now quietly begging for your attention. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay dry, take care of your homes, and keep learning.